Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. We continue our conversation about Carnival and wrapping it up and making sure that it was safe and secure and getting some experiences. This morning we get one from the Director of Stage Solutions Limited out there in Tobago. Elvis Radgman joins us via Zoom. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing? Good morning to everybody looking on.
So far, so good. How are you doing this morning?
Tired. I'm recuperating from this 6 weeks of intense fun, craziness, and just a wonderful experience.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you were able to enjoy all 6 weeks of it. And of course, the intensity comes to a close now and you get a chance to recuperate. But I understand that you were in Trinidad and Port of Spain for Carnival 2024.
Yes. I actually spent quite a bit of time in the Carnival festivities this year.
And was it your first time playing Mass in Port of Spain?
No, this is we played Mass. My wife and I played Mass several times before, but this is the first time I think I had the sort of vantage point on Carnival that I did this year. So I was able to see the engine room that is Carnival and get to see the pre, during, and post. So it was a wonderful experience.
Tell me a little bit about what you were able to notice from that vantage point.
It's just the planning. It's the planning, the logistics, the mobilization, the sort of marketing, the strategies used by different promotional companies. How do they attract their audiences? It was just interesting to see how different promoters were able to capture the demographic based on the event that they were having. And, for me, someone who's into the event industry, it was a wonderful thing to see because different strategies were used by different companies or different promotion companies, and they worked for the most part. I mean, of course, we had some events that fell off the grid. Some wasn't as highly anticipated as it set out to be, but for the most part, most events were wonderful.
Nice. And it's very interesting you say that because it was a short season, so we knew that lots of things, everything that normally happens definitely could not happen. But the things that did happen, you
Yes.
said that you were able to see some nice logistical things. Tell me about, you know, when Tobago Carnival started, I remember there was lots of conversation about whether or not there are certain elements of Trinidad Carnival that can be a part of it and how we can take recommendations and all that stuff. But after witnessing it yourself from this vantage point, do you think there are some things that we can take and apply?
What I can say, Trinidad and Tobago Carnival is the mecca of all carnival. They've all borrowed from it, all countries. We don't need to remake the wheel. Jamaica borrow, Miami borrow, New York borrow, Grenada borrow, Barbados borrow. They all borrow. And we have it right here. So what I was able to see is the engine room that we have just half an hour away, 20 minutes or 20 minutes away by flight and 3 hours away by boat. And we have that right here. There's so many things that we could actually draw from our sister Isle Trinidad here in Tobago that will really help to elevate our carnival experience here in Tobago. I'm hoping that not just people like myself, but others would have gone to Trinidad and experienced it and come and share that gospel, and that the policymakers here are able to listen and really move the carnival in the direction that it ought to be moved. Carnival is no longer a side thing. Carnival is a serious business, serious planning, and it takes advanced planning. What I saw coming out of my experience in Trinidad was how these entities were able to really tap into their pre-planning. They planned way in advance, and that really helped save them from embarrassment. It helped them be able to become more efficient, and also kind of really enhance the masqueraders experience.
Yeah, most definitely, because as one of we were actually talking about that this morning. People think Carnival happens, within the couple of months leading up to it. But in truth and in fact, from today, from as early as today, bands have already started their planning. Promoters have already started their planning to make sure that the next season is going to be a successful one, especially because it's a bit longer. But tell me, how was your perspective when it comes to crime? Were you at all daunted by the idea of it?
I think, well, so my experience, I have a phobia with crime in Trinidad. I really do. But for some reason, I do. For some reason, I felt very, very safe. I don't know. I wasn't really paying much attention to the news. So I don't know what was going on there. But from the presence on the ground, what I distinctly remember seeing is that at strategic points, you're seeing the police vehicles at very strategic points for just quick entry or exits from particular areas. There were always police officers on the street really dealing with traffic. I mean, a critical point in anyone's partying experience is where they park. And sometimes you may have to park very far from the venue and walk to the venue. And there was always some sort of police presence around that made you feel very comfortable. But what was particularly that stood out for me, in the past, you would have these large police brigade, I call them, where they're going through the fence and they look so intimidating and they just kind of create a very hard finish.
Yeah.
I felt like that wasn't very as much as present as it used to be in the past. And it really added value. People felt safe. People felt, at least I felt safe, and the people that I hung out with felt safe. And just the general coordination in and around Port of Spain or wherever these activities are happening, I felt it was well coordinated. Hats off to the police commissioner and the entire team, because I think the TTPS did an excellent job.
Nice. I'm really happy to hear that because the minister was just on with us as well, explaining, some of the pains that they took to make sure that citizens would feel as safe as possible. So I'm really happy that it's able to translate and you were able to feel that sense of safety. If you were to tell somebody outside of Trinidad and Tobago one reason why they should come for Carnival 2025, what would it be?
The experience is out of this world. Let's start with the experience. Two, you cannot experience Carnival if you don't experience a Trinidad and Tobago Carnival. And Trinidad brings the big game Carnival experience. But what the Tobago Carnival has been able to start to really germinate, I think it's going to blossom into something wonderful. So 2 carnivals to look out for. Trinidad Carnival 2025 and Tobago October Carnival 2024.
Nice. Well, we look forward to them both. And I thank you so much for joining us this morning to share a little bit of your experience with us.
No problem at all. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. That is Mr. Elvis Radgman, the Director of State Solutions Limited, just sharing a little bit of his Trinidad Carnival experience and some of the lessons learned that he might just try to take across to Tobago and hope that the powers that be listen to him. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we have your birthday shout, so stick around.